Okay, so initially I was going to do this on Instagram, but it transpires that I probably need longer than a minute to discuss this setup and, you know, how I came to get it and all that kind of stuff, because I only literally just got it yesterday. Anyway, this fine piece of machinery is basically something I rescued from a pile, well, not a pile, it's literally just right beside us. Bunch of recycling bins, which I kind of noticed on my way back home. Of course, it was pitch black, and so I had to kind of get a closer look, but I'm glad I did, because it's basically a complete computer. And I did do a little bit of research on it, and I can't even remember the thingy. It's a Packard Bell, I know that much, but it's also, let's see here, it is an iMedia D2315. And unfortunately, I don't know a huge amount about it. Obviously, it tells me at the front here. Sorry. I'm going to press that here. Yeah. You can barely see that, but that actually says it's a Pentium dual core. It's got NVIDIA graphics, runs Windows Vista, and has, from what I recall, has 2 gigs of RAM. I don't know what the speed of the processor is. I know the hard drive is 250 gigs at serial ATA, because you can also see down there and the sort of cable it is. It's got a DVD-RW. This is a 250 watt power supply. Now, when I first got this, I did try to turn it on, and basically the power supply kept on failing. I actually am using my own power plug thing, wherever that went, because basically I didn't trust that one, even though it was actually kind of sweltering hot and stuff. So, but yeah, this power supply doesn't work anymore. So literally, I tried to turn it on 3 times, and every about 2 or 3 seconds later, it shut itself down. This power supply, which admittedly I've deemed a bit dodgy because it was insufficient to power my main build over there, my i5, which has actually been replaced with a new power supply, which works perfectly, by the way. 600 watts. This is a 500 watt one. So, I mean, this will probably work on this, because obviously the power supply is so, you know, the power draw is so low. But unfortunately for me, I turned it on with the power supply plugged in, and it literally stayed on. And unfortunately for me, I don't know if it's because I need to do... I can't even see that there, can you? Maybe that. But basically, if you see there, there's obviously a plug for it to get power to the PCI slot. I don't know, excuse me, if that also needs to be power the onboard graphics, because I know nothing about them other than it's GeForce. But because this power supply has a 6, or is it? Yeah, that's a 6 rather than a 4. I'm not entirely sure if I can get that in. I'll give it a go. Actually, when I'm here. Actually, no, I won't give it a go when I'm here. I'm holding a tablet with one hand as it is. So actually, hang on. Let's see what happens when we do this. Though that said, is it going to go in? It's going to be a very tight squeeze. I wouldn't want to, actually thinking about it, I wouldn't really want to kind of risk it at the moment. But ultimately, power supply is gone. The rest of it seems fine. I don't know anything about the hard drive or the RAM, admittedly. There's a speaker down here. I've replaced the CMOS battery. And you've got the 2 PCI slots here with your PCI Express miniature slot thingy. Then you've got another big PCI slot. Now, I don't know when I'm going to be able to actually get a new power supply, because at the moment I don't actually have the money for one. But basically my idea is to replace the power supply with one that's obviously suitable for this. It's only going to cost about 15 quid, hopefully. Or if I'm very lucky, I might be able to find one for free. But anyway, my first order of business is to get a power supply for that, although I will probably take the power supply from my Opteron system, Opteron 185, and use that as a test bed to see if everything else works. we know that obviously the computer can power on, but I don't know if the hard drive has issues, or the CPU, or the memory, or even the drive. So, because I've got no visual feedback from it, of course. Now, it may just be that the power supply, basically, it wouldn't power on constantly. So basically, you got rid of it and just replaced it with a new computer, which is what a lot of people do. But me, on the other hand, I know how to fix things, so I just basically opened it up and have a look, and I got it working with this. Although obviously only for powering the major board bits. Although, I don't know much about the other internal specs of it overall. Apart from what I see here. What else is there? The RAM, coincidentally, is DDR2, and it can only hold up to 2 sticks, as you can see there, because it's the orange, and you can see them just there anyway. I'm hoping that if I replace the power supply and just slot the thingy into there, it should boot up fine on my monitor just here. Just running Facebook on my main thing, but yeah, that's the plan anyway. But as for if it's actually going to work, I'm not entirely sure. Mostly besides the issue with the graphics, which may or may not be able to be fixed. I might have to get a new card for it if that's the case. I mean, there are ways around that. I mean, I can literally, when I've actually got a better card, because I need to basically upgrade that anyway, because the board and subsequent memory and CPU and stuff, they're basically, well, I mean, I could probably upgrade the CPU easily enough, but I don't know what RAM I need, because it says it's DDR3, but it seems to be a different type to the one I bought, so it'd be a lot cheaper in the long run just for me to get a DDR4 board with a new CPU, and before that happens, I'm going to get a new graphics card, just so I can get something that will actually run Linux as well. So my plan is take the card out of that to put it into the Optron, because obviously that's PCI Express as well. I'll have a spare GeForce card, and I'll put it into here, which means then that if there is something wrong with the onboard graphics, I can't see how, but if there is something wrong, I just have a graphics card with it, it's like 2 GB machine, and I mean, I can always just upgrade the RAM to whatever the maximum for this, and this will become a nice little HT PC, because it's actually, the case is nice, although the only problem is, here, as you can see, basically it got broken off, so I don't know what happened there. But suffice it to say, I think I can get this working in some form or another. But if I can't, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see if the hard drive still works, wipe it, and stick it into there. Because I actually need another drive. I've only got a 120 gig SSD and a 500 gig hard drive. I'll explain about that some other time, because this is about this. But basically, it means I'll have another hard drive in there, which means I've got a bit more storage. I can also take the DVD RW out of that and put it into there, because that only has a regular DVD drive. Unfortunately, I'll just have to kind of take out the RAM and the processor and put them to one side, because I don't have any way of dealing with them just yet. But, I mean, other than that, because I mean, if basically there's something wrong with the computer, it will probably be more or less the board, I think. But that's obviously, I'm just speculating right now. So for the time being, I have to wait and see what happens. I'll do an update video on this just to kind of show what happens when I actually put better, working power supply into here. And then we'll see what happens from there, and I'll do Linux and stuff. But for the time being, there's not much else I can say about it, and I'm literally running on for 10 minutes, so obviously if you want to ask anything about it, feel free. Once I find out the specs, I'll just add them to the description, and hopefully in the near future I'll be able to kind of give an update on this, because there's not a lot else I can do now with it, apart from maybe write the hard drive. But you know, it does look like a nice little system, and I think it would serve me well. Because I mean, as much as I'd love to use my Pentium 4 for a HTPC, I think it's a little outclassed at the moment, and I'm just going to revert that to a DOS box, you know, well, DOS and Windows 9 Xbox, because I've got a lot of work to do with that, and I'm actually going to make that into another project. So that's 2 projects I can work on right now, because as much as I would have liked to have done it, unfortunately for me, I couldn't have done the CPU replacement of the Opteron to the Opteron on the AMD board, because I just wanted to get out of the way. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here for now, and sometime before the end of the year, maybe even next month if you're lucky, I'll actually have an update on this. Actually, no, it wouldn't be next month. I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to be able to have any money to buy a drive anyway. Sorry, not a drive, a what should we call it? Power supply. There we go. Forgetting my words now. But yeah, it'll probably be roughly around October before I can actually kind of properly get the bits that this needs to work. Because I mean, I would want to basically get a new graphics card for my main build, because I can actually carry over into my newer internal build later. And obviously we'll see what happens, really, because I mean, there's only so much I can actually do at the moment with it, apart from poking and prodding. So next video you'll probably see from me, because obviously this is the first one, will probably be something, I'm not actually sure. Oh wait, it will probably be one of my review videos that I plan to do, because I mean, I have some stuff I can review wherever I put it. Oh right, it's all the stuff just here. USB cables, gaming mouse, Bluetooth, and then I got the you know, you can actually see the drive there along with that. Although coincidentally, if I'm going to have to probably get myself a DVD drive. I always run a dual optical drive setup, on the basis that if you have a drive to read and a drive to write with, then obviously if you want to copy things, rather than have to do an ISO. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what I can actually do with this build, or if I can actually use it to upgrade my other builds. Well, obviously it's only going to be like the two drives that are really going to do anything, but you know. So watch out for a video regarding this computer, roughly around, you know, towards the end of October time. Well, middle to end of October, if not November, sometime before the end of the year, we'll say. And obviously I'll let you know if I've got it working. But for now, I'll see you guys in another video. So that's it for now. Bye.